I think that it's working. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, there it goes. I see myself. I'm doing the inception thing, guys, real quick. I want to make sure. Oh, I can hear myself. Okay, I think it's good. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be doing this again with everyone. Let me just get everything that I need to be over here. Oh, my goodness. This is confusing me. Ooh, I just want to have the comments like that. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you? How are you? Do I sound okay and everything? Good. Should we bring our buddy in? Come on. Yay! Oh shit, I did it wrong. Hold on. There we go. What's up?
Hey, look at that. How's it going?
How are you?
I am so jet lagged. I think I'm going to die.
Yeah, well, actually, I feel like you cancel on me every once in a while because you have a really busy schedule on your own. You do a lot of this stuff too. But we originally were going to do this yesterday, and you were doing all this stuff, and when I finally figured out, like when you were getting home and everything, you were like, I thought you forgot, and you were like, don't worry, I'll be there. And I was like, what the fuck? Would you have really been there?
Yeah, I mean, I would have been a mess, but I would have been there. I got home around 6:30 p.m. or something like that. So that's about an hour and a half, 2 hours before we were supposed to get started with it. I didn't forget it, but you know, I had to go to the States sort of last minute, and yeah, I didn't want to. What's the word? Blank on my responsibilities. There's a word for it, but
Flake.
My flake. There's another word I was looking for, but that also works.
Pussyfoot?
Sure, I like that too.
I don't know what that even is. But speaking of pussy, I was trying to pick a movie out with my son the other day, and this Puss in Boots has amazing review, and we all love cats and everything, right? So, and you know, one of my favorite movies ever is Coco. You've seen Coco, right?
I've never seen Coco.
What the fuck, man?
I know.
You're weird in some ways.
I know.
Anyway, so I was like, it's getting amazing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which is what everyone cares about nowadays, right? Oh god, it's 99 on Rotten Tomatoes. And I watched a trailer for this. Cats, Pixar movie, all this stuff. I had zero interest in watching this movie. Have you seen it?
No.
Me neither.
Isn't
okay.
it,
Next topic. No, go ahead.
But it's supposed to be the cat from Shrek, right?
I've actually never seen Shrek.
I've also never seen Shrek. So
we should watch Shrek together.
Ugh.
Actually, we're still discussing our VIP program. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But you know what? Maybe we can have a Shrek viewing party every day.
So we can watch it like 30 times in a row.
Yeah, if there's that many shows. Wow. Anyway, and we can each dress up like a member of the movie Shrek.
Right.
I'll be Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm. The donkey?
Yeah.
That's all I really know about it, is that he's the donkey and Mike Myers is the Shrek.
I know that like there's this weird subculture of like do you know what I'm talking about? There's this weird subculture of like pornographic weird Shrek stuff. Do you know about it?
Yes.
What is the deal? Is it as a joke or is it like real? Like are there Shrek sex parties?
Look, there's a fetish for everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Shrek fetish. A Shrek dish. Shrek dish. Yeah. It would not surprise me one bit. But you never know with the internet. Like it's either 100% serious or it's 100% bullshit, and there's absolutely no way to tell.
We might not even be real people.
That's correct.
This AI thing that's happening is pretty crazy. Like I saw this post yesterday. I think I sent it to you. It was like these people don't exist. Do you see that?
Yeah.
They look like real people.
Yeah.
Soon people are going to be like scared. Like, I didn't even think about this. Well, I just came up with a business idea. People can like run fake OnlyFans with fake models and do like specific assignments and stuff. Here I go.
The only thing is that all of the current sort of AI software will not let you like do anything sexual. Like I was exploring like Midjourney, and I typed in like bikini because I wanted to generate like, no, I didn't even type in bikini. It was bathing suit, and it said bathing suit is a forbidden word. You can't use it. So I think a lot of the the AI is going to forbid that, but you can do a lot with that. What's it called? The face swapping. There's a word for it.
How do
That
you
guy
do that?
does
The deep fake thing?
deep fake. That's what I was
How do
looking
you
for.
do
Yeah,
that? How do
I
like
think
me
it's
and
just
you do that? Using an app?
I think it's just an app on the phone. Like, have you seen the Tom Cruise deepfake guy? Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, but like whenever I look into doing that in apps, like the only thing I think I'm finding is you can put your face on like a movie scene. It's I haven't noticed something where you can just like put any face you want and just be you and not be you. Can you do that?
I haven't explored it enough to know, but I mean, I know that Tom Cruise guy does something to that effect.
We should do this like for a month and switch Patreons and then see if anyone notices it. And I'll be you doing your Patreon and you could do mine.
Okay. I like that.
So I didn't know, actually, I wasn't going to spill the beans on like what you'd been traveling for because I just assumed it was private, but people are asking. Some people submitted some questions ahead of time, and Angela was asking how's the house buying going. So do you want to like talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it is like my private life, and I'm still kind of like deciding how much of that like I want to publicly discuss. But you know, it's not a secret that I went to the Portland area to secure a house, help my mom out, and it is really one of the most nightmarish experiences like ever. And people always talked about buying a house like it was miserable, and boy were they right. But I think I found the right house. Got a couple of more papers to sign and inspection reports to read, but it's looking good.
Is it like how long does it take from like point A, like when you're like, I'm on Facebook Marketplace looking for a house? Is that where you look for a house?
Yeah, like Zillow
Or Craigslist?
right? No, so a lot of the real estate is sold, or at least advertised through Zillow, and then there's another thing called RME, which is a search. It's basically like Craigslist or eBay or a Facebook Marketplace, but it's only for realtors. Yeah, come on. Yeah,
What?
there we go.
Let's see the butthole.
No, let's not show them your shame.
What? So
Yeah,
but
so
those
you
are the
just look at listings. Yeah, you just sort of look at listings, and you know, you see pictures, and then I have family out there, so they went and did a lot of sort of recon for me, and we're like, yeah, this place sucks, this place isn't too hot, whatever. And so then we had a couple of places in mind, and then the turnover is so fast. Like any good house that's at a reasonable price is gone within 3 business days. It's insane. And so you know, I had a couple in mind that my family had looked at, and then I got on a plane last minute to go check out like these 4 or 5 houses, and then like as I was about to get onto the plane, like the realtor sent me this other house which had just gone on the market, and so I was like, okay, yeah, looks pretty good to me. Add it to the list, and after like really hellish traveling because the weather has been so bad lately that my flight got delayed, and I ended up not being able to get there easily. So I had a lot of connections. So it was Munich to Chicago, Chicago to Denver, Denver to Portland in like snow, and was almost a trains, planes, and automobiles type experience. But I finally made it there at like 11 at night on Saturday, and then 7 a.m. on Sunday. I was looking at houses, and the last one seemed to be the right one, and we made an offer, and they accepted it. So yeah, it looks good. It's and if from finding the house to completion, till you get the keys, it's like 6 weeks. So I'll get the keys in March.
But once they accept the offer, does that mean that it's 100%, or do you have to still wait for like the bank to go through some shit and like?
So you make the offer, and then you send them basically like good faith money. So you send them an offer, they accept the offer, and then you send them like a massive chunk of money for them to be like, all right, this person's legit. And then you have like a time window that is specified within your offer contract, because an offer is a contract. And if you do not include, they're called contingencies. If you do not include contingencies in the contract, once the buyer accepts the contract, it's done. But you normally include a contingency saying, I need to have a professional inspector take a look at the house and let me know if there's anything wrong with it. And, we can reject it based on essentially anything we want. So we did the inspection on Thursday, and I've got like a 40-page report that I have to read have to read through. Yeah, it's gnarly. It's really gnarly.
Now you have to learn how to read. Ugh.
Yeah, it's tough.
What I always want to know is like how do you get the meth lab houses and the sex dungeon orgy devil satanic we uncovered a secret chamber in the basement houses. Like, how do you find those? Is there a website for that?
Yeah, Zillow.
Really?
Yeah, you just search for foreclosures.
Oh, so, you can look for that on that?
Yeah, they'll have properties that have been foreclosed either because of like crimes have been committed there, or maybe the owner couldn't pay their mortgage. But you don't get to see the inside. You can only make bids on it sight unseen.
Oh, that's fucking freaky.
Yeah, it's crazy. But there's like a whole like sort of there's a whole a group of like people who will go and do this. They'll buy these houses, foreclosed houses, sight unseen, and just pay cash, and then go inside and be like, all right.
Yeah, because have you ever experienced this? You've probably seen it when you were living in LA. That I used to have a house like this that was near me when I was living in Bushwick in Brooklyn, and it was the crack house of the block, and it was just always, it was obvious there was just like homeless people walking in and out on drugs, and like all hours of the night there was always police there and everything. But for some reason it just kept continuing for like years, and then one day they like, I don't know what happened. Someone buys it, they get everything out, and they like put things, and they gut the house, and then they make it look really beautiful on the outside and probably on the inside too. But I don't know, bed bugs, like they need a place to go and they can hang out and like hide in the wood in the walls. And then when everything's changed, they fucking come out and they bite your toes.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Well, you're flying all over and being ready to do that sort of thing sounds fucking insane to me. I am thinking like I think back to like I have a studio by my house, and the studio. I'm telling everyone else. I go to the studio sometimes in the evening. Like I usually go in the morning now, and I'll go in the evening like 8 at night. And I'm like, I'm so tired, and I can't imagine like playing drums. But when I was like 20, I used to like work a 10-hour day and then go to the studio and play drums till like 4 in the morning and then sleep for 2 hours. It's like crazy. We're getting old, man. Can't do that shit no more.
No, dude, you're 100% right. Like I feel it so bad. And like, I think I was just running on pure adrenaline, like, the week that I was there, and, just running around and, calling the bank and looking at houses and reading report and all this kind of stuff. And then, now I'm home and I feel like I'm falling apart at the seams. It is gnarly. And despite how exhausting the travel was, like I got home last night. I went to bed at 10 p.m. and I woke up at 3 and I was like, all right, time to start the day. Look at my clock. Oh my God, it's 3 in the morning. Couldn't go back to sleep. So I've been awake now since for, yeah, 15 hours.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So I'm just hanging on for another 2 hours and then I'll try to go to bed.
so what's next for you? Like what we're doing this tour.
Mhm.
Uh, we're still deciding. What are we still deciding on? Should we tell people like we don't know like what we're gonna travel in. We might have to walk. Or there was a vintage helicopter on the table the other day.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, like the band would have been in the actual bucket seats of the helicopter, and then the rest of the crew would have to grab onto the landing gear. That's how we sort of had it set up, and we wanted to see if we had the budget for harnesses, so that if their arms got tired, they wouldn't fall.
And if we
But
fire someone, put them on the propellers that day.
yeah, I thought we just push them out with a parachute.
But
Be
we
like,
could put a
"Peace."
hole in the parachute, like you put the hole in the condom. You put it in the
Yeah.
parachute, and then they die. So yeah, so well, let's get serious. Everything's stressful, isn't it, right now? And the reality of doing what we do at the level that we do is seeming I don't know. Well, you could probably word it a little more eloquently than I can. So I think that people want to hear you talk about it. So why don't you take it away?
I mean, just the situation with touring has basically the the threshold for being able to tour has risen like significantly, right? So it's like bands at our level, we're able to comfortably tour for a lot of years. That trend started to change probably 5, 6 years ago. I think I think the rise of Netflix and Spotify and sort of the the not just social media, but like the quality and way that you can engage with people, like what we're doing right now. Um, People just decided to stay home because it was cheaper. They didn't have to get all dressed up like I'm doing this in my pajamas, right, in my
Yeah, but
socks.
you're saying that this is. I feel like you're saying this started a while ago, and I feel like
Yeah.
this is starting because of COVID.
So it already was happening. Like this trend was occurring. Um, and I didn't think that it was going to move as fast as it did or affect maybe bands at our level as much as it did. But then, like you said, when COVID hit, um, a lot of people were out of work for a long time, and many people in our sort of in the music business went and found other jobs. They found like 9 to 5 jobs, and they got accustomed to things like health insurance and like a livable wage, because a lot of us know that there isn't a whole bunch of money in the music business at this level. So people were doing very hard work for very very little money, but that was how kind of tours remained profitable, or at least break even, right? Like it was always my goal just to break even. So if it was like my threshold was always give or take $1,000. So if the tour is in the red, $1,000, I don't care. And if the tour is in the black, about $1,000, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But anything over, it's like something is out of balance. And so I always tried to maintain that sort of homeostasis. But now, in a post-pandemic world, these people are going back to work. They understandably need higher wages because the cost of living has gone up, gas has gone up significantly, the cost of vehicles has gone up 30 to 40%, and just the fact that people are not going out as much. I personally, when we did our US tour, I sort of calculated, okay, 20 or 30%, that's going to be the that's going to be the that's going to be the reduction that we see in ticket sales. But I didn't expect some markets were literally 70%, which was just like, Chicago was
70%.
mind blowing
70% reduction.
in ticket sales,
Yeah.
right? So Chicago, as we were discussing, normally 300-400 tickets easily, and then we had like 98 ticket sales in Chicago on the last one. So
Yeah, the last tour we did was, it felt like a huge success, and then this tour
Yeah, the
was,
2019 tour for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, that was.
we still had a blast. I did. You were pretty stressed, but I mean, like, I still had a lot of fun. But I think people don't, you know, it's funny when I talk to my family and stuff, and like something will come up in passing, or like, oh, we like, and I'll catch myself sometimes saying something out loud like, oh yeah, and like we got like about $5,000 or $6,000 for that show, and then like, people do the math and they're like, well, that's a lot of money, and like all these shows and everything. But what it really comes down to is like you're spending more money than that to do the show.
Yeah.
And that's what, we kind of bank on like the show being a huge success, so that there's extra people and extra merch sales and stuff like that. Otherwise, we're always losing money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
that's like the hard reality of what we're dealing with right now. So you've kind of said to yourself that you've been saying online for the past few weeks that this upcoming European tour will be the final headlining tour for the band.
Yeah. I think obviously it's the internet, we always got to talk sort of in exaggerated terms. I mean, in at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is it feasible, right? So if touring makes sense, then I'll absolutely do it. But I think you have to sort of, unfortunately, deal with these things in a very calculated business sense. So it's like, yeah, it's great going out on the road, and even you and I discussed this at length. Just on the bus together, like, certain shows, even if they didn't have a massive turnout, 60 people, those 60 people were incredibly enthusiastic. They bought a shit ton of merch. These things are great, and connecting with the people in that way is awesome. But unfortunately, like, you can't support the whole machine that way. Like, so I've kind of done the math, and it's just like, if a tour doesn't help us grow, as in like investing in it financially, like we did on the Lindemann tour, right? It's like we didn't make any money on that tour. I actually lost something like 40,000 euros or whatever. But that significantly grew the profile of the band. And so I sort of consider that as like, okay, we do these things, we invest in them just like you invest in a promotional campaign for an album or a music video, things that don't initially have returns. That, or, the tour has to actually make some money in order to justify doing it, because if it's just costing you money and it's not helping you grow, then my way of describing that would be it's like unsustainable.
Yeah.
So, really the goal right now is to grow the band with a lot of sort of music videos, and adopting the strategies that new bands do. If you look at people like Spiritbox or Jairus Johnson, like artists who existed really only online until they grew past a certain threshold, until the demand for them to tour was so great that they got like opportunities. Like the first Spiritbox tour ever was with Limp Bizkit. The first Jairus Johnson tour ever was with Falling in Reverse, playing 3,000 cap theaters. And I think that this is sort of the path that bands are going to have to take now, and as opposed to like, let's grind it out on the road for a few years, because that's not how people hear about new bands. So unless you're getting like, an opportunity where you're playing in front of 3,000 people every night. But what I mean is like long gone are the days of grinding it out in front of 15 people and then seeing growth from that, because it's just not the way it's working.
And you think it doesn't, like, so what you're saying is it mostly doesn't work that way too now, because like people aren't going out and having that same type of social life.
Yeah, because people don't hear about new music by going to shows or clubs anymore. People hear about new music because of the Spotify or YouTube algorithms, or something that their friend sends them a text of, and they can just listen to it right then and there. It's a very different way of consuming music and discovering music, which, it's not about whether or not it's good or bad, because I'm I'm almost 40. I grew up waiting in line at the record store and buying the album and sitting there in front of my stereo reading every single booklet of the CD.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore, and I have to accept that. I have to sort of like exist as an artist in the moment now, because if I just keep trying to force things to work the way that I think they should or the way that they used to, I think I can I'll end up missing a lot of opportunities that could help us grow in the future. And the whole goal here is to grow to a point where touring makes sense again.
Mm-hmm. So, in respect to all that, I think that it would be a good time to tell people about this idea that we came up with. People are asking like crazy if we're going to do a VIP thing. We didn't do one on the last tour. Sadly, we couldn't really get it together to do that in the time frame that we had to prepare. But with respect to everything that's going on right now, we came up with a really awesome idea, and I think it's okay to talk about it, right? Like without giving too much away yet. But we're gonna figure out all the details and launch that in the coming weeks. I think in the coming next couple weeks. But it's one thing about me when with VIP stuff. First of all, have I ever told you about that you are my hero? No, I love telling this story because the VIP story goes back so far for me. Actually, you were there. You were on that first tour that we did a VIP on, and what happened was, it sounds so funny to say it right now, but it literally was before bands were doing VIPs, and I had experienced Nine Inch Nails doing something. My cousin used to tour. He used to work for Trent, and I would often go and hang out on the tour for a few days, and I was watching a sound check one day, and there was like it was in Jones Beach Arena that holds like 6,000 people probably, and there was like 100 or 200 people sitting there, and the band came out and did a sound check, and they were like, we're gonna play a few songs for you guys that we're not playing during the show, and then and they did like a private little performance and talked to the crowd for a few minutes, and then they went and they had a meal situation that was kind of set up like a wedding. I don't know. And I asked Trent about it, and I was like, what is all that? I never saw anyone do anything like that before. And he was like, well, we have a fan that I think they needed a heart transplant, and he was trying to raise money for that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, there's something here. This is so cool and so special. And I remember our manager at the time was Jason Fiber. He was probably managing you at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. And we had the tour coming up with Julian K and you, right? You guys were on that, yeah. And I think that was the first time you toured with us in America, and maybe
yes,
the first time you had a drummer as well.
That's also correct,
right?
Yeah.
And I saw this thing, and it was probably 2 months before our tour, right? That I saw the Nine Inch Nails thing, and I go to Jason, and I'm like, I have an idea, and he's like, this will never work. This will never work. And I was like, no, I think it will. And I kept on him about it, and as I do, as you know, and he was like, and it was like 2 days before the tour started, he just like got fed up with me, and he goes, you know what? Just do it if you want to do it. I don't want to have anything to do with it, and it's all on you. And I was like, and I don't know how to do web stuff or anything. Meow. And I just put a thing online that I was like, here's what you're going to get. Like, we're going to do sound check songs and do all this stuff. And if you want to come, send $150 to this PayPal. I did my PayPal, and tell me which city you want to come to. And I woke up the next day, and there was like $30,000 in my PayPal account. And I was like, see? And then we started doing it. And literally it was like before anyone was doing these VIP things. And then, actually a few bands hit me up to help them construct VIP programs because they saw what I was doing. And I should have like started a business or something. And I actually ran a Apoptigma Berserk's VIP for them, and then I was going to be on the tour, and then I didn't go on the tour, and and then all the money got locked up in the PayPal. It was a nightmare. But anyway, so point being, that was like an experience, right? So now, lo and behold, everyone starts doing VIPs, and I was a part of some VIPs like this too, where it's like, people pay money, and then the band's sitting at a table. They line up. They come in, hi, sign, take a picture, move on. And I always felt so shitty about that. I always was like, this is so, I don't know. You don't get anything out of that. So I really was inspired to come up with experiences, and you know, we did last time we toured that we did a VIP. It was a lot of fun. We did the speed gaming, and everyone had their activity, and everyone went through, and we really bonded with the people that wanted to meet us and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. So with that being said, and with everything that's going on with the band right now, and the possibility of this being the last tour, at least for a while, we've come up with the idea to hold a funeral ceremony for the band. And I think we're going to announce soon all the details, but we're going to invite a limited number of people to join in a funeral service every day before doors open, where we will funeral attire is encouraged. I know we probably will be in funeral attire, and I think that we're going to play some songs in a more acoustic manner, maybe at candlelight, in the dark, for a small number of people every day. And we're thinking now too of like what commemorative funeral items you will be able to part with as something you can display on your home in commemoration of the long and maybe over career of live aesthetic perfection. I don't know. So this is the idea. And anything you want to say about this idea?
Well, I like how you say we came up with it when it was like 100% you. And then you just pitched this idea to me, and I was like, that is fucking brilliant. So,
well, I wasn't going to ask.
You should hit the applause. You should hit the applause sound on your end for you.
Okay, wait, I got it. Hold on. Timpani roll, wait. Oh, I timed that perfectly. So, yeah, I did. Well, look, I did come up with the idea, but if I didn't have a gracious leader like you to encourage me to give my ideas to, which is still pretty new for me in the longevity of my career in music, as I haven't been in this band as long as I've been in other bands that didn't like to hear my ideas, but I did usually force them to go along with them anyway, to the best of my ability. But yes, you said, I'm so busy, please help me come up with ideas. And actually, I was really stumped, and I went to the sauna with Emma the other day, and I just started talking about like the idea, and she was like, "I have no ideas," and it was like really went from being a really frustrating conversation to talking about funerals and stuff, and then we came up with all these ideas together, and I came home and I sat down and.
Okay, so Emma also gets some credit here.
She does, yeah. Okay. And yeah, people are saying like what songs we should play. Actually, like I was thinking, I mean, for sure we have to play the ones.
Okay.
Right? We have to. This is just so everyone knows, this is one of those songs that like we always try to play and then we rehearse. You're a funny guy. You're one of those people that make us learn 100 songs before tour, and then it's like, oh, we're only going to do 26 of them. And it's like, it's so stressful. And like before the tour, before this last tour, we're all rehearsing and we're just meeting Constance for the first time. And it was just like, what the fuck? And then lo and behold, we didn't do all the songs. And it was like, and I got to say that, what was that one song, Dead Zone.
Yeah.
Dead Zone. Yeah. And this was,
we got to
like,
play that one for the funeral.
Maybe we should just do like death themed ones. Like I said if I die, but like I don't know if that's the vibe.
Yeah, it's not really the vibe, I think, but I think in general we can find some songs that like fit, or like Little Death, right?
Yeah. Oh, another song I need to learn now. Great. What about St. Peter?
Yeah, we just gotta We just gotta play it in a different key.
Let's sing it together right now. Let's do the high part. And show everyone. You gotta grab your nuts. You gotta grab them. So that's what we're gonna do. So stay tuned. We're gonna come out with an announcement soon on how we can you can purchase and secure your spots for the upcoming shows. And and to be fair, we need to do it in order to do the tour. Otherwise, we might have to cancel the tour. So we need everyone to kind of chip in, and this is what it is now. We gotta I told people on my own, you don't have to make any comment about this if you don't want to, but people are like, is it really the end? Is it real? Like, is it, and the thing is like, if everyone, like back in the day, like me, whenever there's a band I want to see that I like to see, and I want to go see them again, and I always rally up my friends and my family and be like, we're going, and like try to turn people on to music, because that's how I grew up, and I still do that. And if we can harness that energy between all of our fans and friends to do that and come and party with us every day, and everything's sold out everywhere, and the band's growing, then the band is growing. And look, the one thing I'll say about us, especially with the new lineup, which is Constance, which is an amazing addition, I'm confident to tell anyone that the show's great. It doesn't even matter if you don't know the music. We're a great band. We are a great live band. I'm very proud of that. And
Me too.
Yeah.
But that's thanks to you guys. Well,
a lot of people probably don't know that there's a lot of singers out there that would encourage people not to be so much of a personality on stage, and because of their egos, and you are not one of these people, and you're just like, it's really a collective and a good vibe while we're on stage and while we're touring and playing in the band with you. So thank you.
I remember when we were talking to Constance about this, and she was just kind of like, well, what do you want me to dress like? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, how do you want me to perform? And we were just like, be yourself, kind of take a look at the way we're dressing and try and find something that has like a similar like aesthetic or vibe, like color palette. But it wasn't like, okay, we want you to dress X, Y, and Z. We want you to find your own sort of character within this show. And I think she just took that and ran with it and made something so much better than either you or I could just come up with, right? Like, I think that's really, really important, that each performer injects their own personality into the show, just like what you're doing. All the characters you come up with, I could never fathom such a thing. So it's all in service of making a great show. So I don't see why anybody would be worried about being sort of upstaged or whatever. I don't know. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you. I wonder what Constance thinks about all this. What do you think she would say right now?
I can only imagine.
We should talk shit on her. I know she's watching.
Let's
each name the top 5 things we hate about her.
Okay.
You go first.
Her boots
shit!
Smell.
Look who's here!
I'm waiting.
Look who's here!
Your boots in the bin, they smell.
I know they do.
The boots.
Not as bad as yours.
No, my pants smell bad. My boots are okay. The pants, now
pants
that's another, that's something else. Yeah, I don't even think I've managed to get that like smell fully out despite washing them numerous times. So I might have to procure a new
I think you
set
should burn them,
this.
and that should be at the funeral.
Ooh.
We can ritualistically burn those pants. They're made of plastic. It's gonna smell terrible and probably
It's okay.
be
We got
very
burned
toxic.
Joey's too.
Hey! I don't even wear pants. Oh yeah, I do. Okay.
Sometimes.
Wow. So here you are with your guitars on the wall behind you, because you're a guitar player. I love it. On theme. So So let's let here the. This is the first time anyone's hearing you talk because even on tour, on the first tour, we always tell new members you're not allowed to talk to anyone. And this is I never even heard your voice before.
I know. I had to stay in the bathroom.
I always thought you sound like a man, but you actually sound like a girl. Wow.
I know. I sucked some helium in before, so I still have a man voice.
So here you are, and how did you get here, Constance? Let's talk about what I would love to ask you. In front of everyone here and everyone that's going to see this later when I post it publicly is, what was it like? Like, what were you thinking? I don't even remember. What did I write you on MySpace or Instagram?
MySpace.
Totally
MySpace.
Like, what did I say? And what did you, like, was I don't know. Were you like, who the fuck is this guy? I'd imagine that as a girl, you might get hit up to do things often by people that are having ulterior motives. Is that shitty for me to say?
No, that happens 99% of the time.
Yeah. So did you have your guard? You looked at me and you're like, he has tattoos. He's probably an asshole. Like my neighbor's thing.
Yeah, I instantly was like, this guy's bad trouble. No. You seemed actually pretty legit because I asked around first to make sure you weren't creepy and weird.
Doing the background checks.
I did.
That
turned out you weren't weird.
That could go either way with me, and I don't think anyone would ever say that I'm a creep, but I think that people would have one or two other things to say about me here or there. I've experienced some opinionated people in my life.
Actually, no one said anything negative.
Oh, good.
So, there you go.
And here we are. And then you came over and we rehearsed and we met for the first time and we got along great. And actually, I met you in LA when I was out there. I forget what I was doing. What was I doing out there?
Rammstein was playing. Yeah.
No, I met you before that. Oh, wait.
Yeah, at the Rainbow.
Yes, and I was out there for Rammstein. That's correct. Yes. Yeah. And then I remember, Dan. We were looking for someone for a while, and I remember Daniel was apprehensive when he saw you.
Oh yeah, he saw.
Do you remember
me
what you said, Daniel? I have the text here. I'm gonna fly it in.
What did he say?
No, I'm just kidding.
He was.
Look, you have a lot of followers on Instagram, and you have your shit together, and that could be intimidating in a way where it's like, is she gonna be cool to hang out with, or is she gonna be full of herself and which would go for anyone, not if you're a girl or whatever.
Let me interject here. I was skeptical because there's a very different it's a very different thing being an Instagram sort of musician or being an internet musician as opposed to being like a touring musician. And so I was just unsure if she had the touring experience because touring sucks, and some people really can't handle it when they wake up in the morning and have nowhere to poop.
Yep.
It's like you gotta have a certain kind of inner strength to handle the inability to poop or to have to poop in really terrible places. So sometimes
the inner strength is your anus muscles holding them. Mm-hmm.
See,
Exactly.
and I just wanted to make sure that she had the wherewithal to handle this poop situation, and that was my key worry.
Well,
maybe an Instagram star expects shiny toilets. I don't know.
I definitely do. I never was an Instagram musician or anything at first, and then COVID and everything, and my friends were like, you should post videos. And I go, those are stupid and cheesy. But then I did it anyways.
Well, you're really good at it.
I was bored. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I was like, I just really want to play a show. I don't want to post these anymore.
But you'd toured
So
before.
I still get comments. But I had toured before, and that's like what I was saying before COVID. I just was touring and playing live shows, and then I was stuck in my house. So I made stupid videos.
You know, I didn't know that like so what you were just saying, Daniel, I didn't know that like this kind of a musical personality exists of people that just want to create content and didn't want to actually be on stage and stuff. And I learned all about that from searching for people for Till's band. And when he asked me to put together the lineup back during COVID, when he first reached out to me about playing in his band, I started reaching out. You know, we talked about having females in the band, and you know, we like I'm very feminine. I love having female energy around me. Yet I just feel more comfortable this way for some reason. And when there's like, you know, some female, when there's a mix and not just all dudes, I feel like I'm the only girl there. To be honest, that's how I feel. So I started reaching out to. I mean, at this point, I probably know of and spoke to every single one of these internet
personalities.
What did you call it? Like a stream? Is it a streamer? It's like a social
content creator.
And I really thought that everyone would be like, oh my God, yeah, like here's your opportunity to do it, and like, you know, on this massive level and be this cool thing. Even some people that were making like, you know, Rammstein covers and even Lindemann covers online, and I reached out to them and they're just like, and I probably had like, you know, dozens of conversations like that, and it really was. I was like, what is this, real life? And I didn't even know that was a thing. And then people started, yeah, these people are just doing this, and they're like, I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, do you know people like that, Constance?
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about who they are. It's just like,
yeah, they just don't like playing live. They feel like they're afraid they're gonna mess up, or who knows what. So they like doing their videos so they can retake them over and over.
I mean, it is a different experience, and like, I must admit that I find more sort of enjoyment like being in the studio and like making music videos and stuff than I do on stage. It's like I feel more in my element in like these places, in these spaces. It's not that I don't like playing live, but this is where I feel like just super comfortable and everything is super easy. And I understand that it can be scary for people to step out of that, especially if it's the only thing they know.
I just can't imagine, like, I just can't imagine not having that, like that as like the, so for you, your like peak is the recording process, and the valley is going on tour and playing live. But for me, I guess it's up here, and then in between, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
So just the way that I sort of view it is that everything I do is in service to being able to keep creating, right? Mm-hmm. So creating is the thing that occupies my mind probably like 24/7. Like I produce in my sleep. It's insane. And I just love it. And so I feel like everything else I do, like the social media, the touring and all that kind of stuff, even when it's fun, even when there's a lot of benefits that I get out of it, a lot of enjoyment that I get out of it, it's like I feel like all of that is in service to the end goal, which is being able to do this, create.
What about you, Constance? I'm looking that way. I don't know if it's like this on your computer. Are you like?
I don't know what direction.
Do you like to record? I hate recording.
It depends. I like to write, and I like to track if I've been practicing it, but I'm not huge into doing studio stuff.
We should let's name all the things that you're good at. Actually, I have all these questions here. I should ask some of them, but I'll start with one for you, because one of the things that we learned about Constance, and we continue learning, she's like, I don't know who's like a character like this, like one of those people that like, I don't know, there's like a fight happening and all of a sudden like you turn around and she like kung fu'd everyone and she's like, yeah, I'm a black belt. And you're like, oh, like Constance can do everything.
I am a black belt.
Yeah, see, there we go. And someone asked, I think it was Angela. Hold on a second. What did she say? Oh no, it was Ashley. She said, she was talking about this back bend that you did because you played with tilt. Here, I'm gonna put it up here so that everyone can see. And she was like, you know, this picture is amazing. I mean, I think I posted this when I saw this. So she asked if you have any gymnastics background, and I think you do. Do you?
Yeah, I did gymnastics for a few years, and it's just too scary for me. My breaking point was when I was on the balance beam and my coach wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing a little like aerial flip, and she was supposed to spot me, and instead she turned around and looked at the other coach, was gossiping, did my flip, my foot slid, and I landed on the balance beam like that, and never again. I quit gymnastics after that.
I have a funny story about why I quit karate that I'd like to share with you, if you don't mind.
I would love to hear it.
I'm definitely the opposite of a black belt. My brother, I have an older brother who was really into all that. He still is. He's doing I forget what he does now. But anyway, you know, growing up, and I was probably like 10, and I was like, I'm gonna do karate like my brother, and I went and I took one lesson in the gym of my elementary school, and there was like, I don't know, it was like a lot of people just starting out, and the other side of the gym was a lot of people that were like experts so that we could kind of see them, and then all the parents were up on the stage watching the lesson. And there was this part where he was like teaching the horse stance, and it was like where you go like like this or something, and everyone's doing it, lined up doing it, and the teacher like walks through everyone. He's like, yup, and he gets to me and he smacks my ass, and I'm like the kid that's getting his ass kicked in school like already, right? And he smacks my ass and he's like, this is the wrong way to do it. Look, everyone. And I was like mortified, and I never took another karate lesson ever. So I'm like the opposite. I'm bad at actually everything except for I'm really bad at drums too. I just like do some fucking dumb shit and everyone thinks it's wild. So I think that's where I don't know. I'm not that great. But yeah, so you're good at everything. So what else do you do? You were the valedictorian in your high school. Yeah?
Uh-huh. Dance, so ballet, tap, jazz. I did some flamenco. I tried doing belly dance, Bollywood. Wasn't for me. Hip hop was actually my main one, and ballet, which is why I do such weird moves on stage.
You know,
yeah,
this is going to come in handy because I have some music video ideas that will require choreography, so I'm just going to hire you to do that.
Ooh.
Yep. There you go.
Are we shooting music?
Yeah. Are we?
Are we?
Are we shooting a music video?
Well, I guess I just sort of assumed that you would do it, Constance. But I sent Joey a treatment for the song that we all listened to a couple of times on the tour. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It to you. But we're trying to plan out when we can make it. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
We were just
look at Joey. He's smiling. He knows he's a favorite.
I don't play favorites. I love all my kids equally.
Aw.
But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for new music videos, and I've got a couple of them where I actually want some choreography. And of course, if you guys would do me the honor, I would love to have you in those videos. And Constance, if you could help with the choreography, and that'd be great.
I'd love to see Joey in a tutu.
We did.
Wouldn't we all?
I tried to do choreography in the No Boys Allowed video. It was like I worked on choreography and our old keyboard player and I created this dance routine because we were dressed like girls in the video, and I in my head I was like, really, I wanted it to be such a prominent part in the video. And then when you shoot the video and, you know, you have the scenes that you're going through and you get through everything, it's like the end of the day and it's like, you never finish everything. And I was like, what about the dance? And they were like, oh, okay. And I was like, and then we did it and it didn't even come out good. And I was like, so pissed. Remember that?
I thought it looked fine, but I think I have some pretty wild ideas. So we'll all talk about that soon.
Human sacrifice.
Ooh.
No, cooler, way cooler than that.
Oh, alien sacrifice. So, so I'm gonna ask some of these questions so that it's like I don't not do it. But well, I love talking to you guys. I miss you.
I miss you too.
So Luis, who you remember, we went out with in the Reeperbahn after the German show. He's got some questions. I'm just gonna read through what he wrote.
All right.
How did we get invited to the Lord? I'm going to read the whole thing and then we're just going to talk. How did we get invited to the Lord Fest? What can we expect from the concerts in Europe? Will I have a new costume? Constance, do you rehearse your crazy moments or you just do what comes to mind? Do you have a funny story to share about your cat? And yes, there it all is. So go. How do we get invited to the Lord of the Lost Fest? We're good friends with them.
I think that's a Daniel question.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've actually known them. No, I have known Chris longer than you, Joe. I know Chris from back in the day when he had this band called Unterart, and it was like more agro-industrial stuff. And it was funny because all of the people sort of in the scene were like, oh yeah, you know that guy Chris, the singer of Unterart, he's also got like this kind of sleazy glam rock band in Hamburg, and you know, people would kind of like make fun of him, and I always thought it was super cool because I would see
was
the
that
pictures
Lord of the Lost?
No, it was, I forget the name of it, but it was the band he did before Lord of the Lost, and they almost had this kind of like, you know, like oh crap, what are they called? I keep wanting to call them Crouching Tiger, but that's the metal school.
Yeah, that was, they used to be called Metal School. What?
Yeah, they used to be called Metal School, and then they became a band.
You just fucking made me not think of it too. They're huge now. What are they called?
Yes, Steel Panther.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so they kind of looked like Steel Panther. And I thought it was cool that like Chris, you know, was doing this, and then he was also doing this sort of like agro-industrial band. And then we met at a festival in like 2007, and you know, we would just sort of bump into each other randomly from time to time because we were on the same label during that era. And either way, you know, Chris and I just have always gotten on well, and you know, sort of watching him grow Lord of the Lost. From being like this new project to now about ready to play in the Eurovision, which is just absolutely insane. So yeah, we've been friends with them for a long time, and we were honored that they invited us to take part in their first Lord Fest festival.
Yeah, they're like watching their career. I feel like it's really inspiring to just watch every move that they make. They're just so immersed in everything, and it's like they really run it like such a machine, and it's something else. Yeah, it's cool. Like they used to open for all of us, and now they're humongous, and it's like well
I
deserved.
purposely didn't look them up before we played because you guys said their image was so good and everything, so I just wanted to be shocked when I got there. The one leg glitter pants definitely shocked me. And I thought they were really good live.
Yeah.
They have the whole package.
Yeah. They're definitely a well-oiled machine. And you know, I was saying this to Joe the other day on text, like, you know, all 5 of those guys are really laser focused on the success of that band 24/7. And I think that is part of what they owe their success to, because, you know, 5 minds dedicated to one task can really go a long way as opposed to just, you know, 1 or 2. So I think they have just an excellent business acumen. They're really, really creative and cool guys, and yeah, super stoked for them.
And Constance,
Oh,
talk
yes,
about your. I know I did this question all fucked up. The truth is, I have a lot of questions, and I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them. And I got overwhelmed, so I read all of one.
Should I fire through them?
Well, here, let's talk about your contortionism. I want to talk to you here. Let's make believe that I'm asking you this, because I also feel like I have like a response towards this, and I have a feeling it's the same thing. So, like when I'm performing on stage, I'm always taking this hour before to kind of do. Yeah, actually, it probably drove you crazy. We're always listening to the same exact playlist every day, and but it's like it's for me. I know, and Daniel too. I guess like it's all part of the process to kind of like. It's like putting all these things in place and going through these motions to kind of become this character, and that's why the repetition of the specific habits like means a lot to me. I don't know. And then when I'm on stage, I really don't think about what I'm doing, and I see a lot like people compare me a lot to other drummers who are very flashy and do things that are larger than life, like Tommy Lee or some other people, and I don't really relate to a lot of the drummers that people see, because I think that a lot of the people do what they do more intentionally than I do, and I just really zone out and it just happens. So that's kind of what, like, I would guess that you're the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think about what I'm doing on stage whatsoever. I think about my equipment. That's one of my number one things. And then the notes. And then I just move with the music and hope it looks good. But when I practice at home, I definitely went over moves and stuff in the front of the mirror, make sure I don't look weird. Or if I do look weird, is it a good weird? Is it a bad weird?
That's a big thing for me too, is rehearsing in front of a mirror. I feel like every single person should rehearse in front of a mirror. I was just shooting Emma doing like a drum thing the other night, and she's like, "Why aren't you like? How do I stop making this face while I'm playing drums?" I'm like, "Just play in front of a mirror and just stare at yourself." Like, no, even when you're getting filmed, like no one knows that you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You just look like you're looking straight ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to look back at the whole tape to know, if you were making weird faces. But I like the weird faces. I love getting the photos that the fans send of me making a stupid quick face. I love when they catch it at perfect timing and I'm just in the corner.
I wasn't actually going to bring this up, but like I do. There was a really rough day for all of us on the last tour that we did together. It was in Virginia, and it was towards the end of the tour, and there was just like everything was kind of coming to a head, and you weren't so happy, and then you were angry at me, and all of a sudden I just looked up from my drum set at one point and see you standing there with my mixing board, and you just fucking smashed it on the floor.
I did.
Daniel, do you remember when Constance smashed my mixing board?
Oh, how could I forget?
Yep, okay. It was in the middle of Dead Zone.
Yeah, right in the middle of Dead Zone.
Yeah.
That's why the music stopped.
Do you remember when? Do you remember when
Wow.
we ate that day? Here, I'm going to change the subject real quick. Okay, here. Let's all talk about this. Here, this is a good one. This is so just before COVID. This is Daniel and I with Till, and we were opening.
Say, I look pretty pale there.
Yeah. This was in London, and we were opening for Till's band, and then the progression of that. I've known Till since 2009 when I'm opening for Rammstein and an old band, and then we eventually open for his newer band in this band, and then COVID happened, and he called me and he was like, will you put together a new band with me and do the, and lo and behold, now fast forward, cut to the chase, Joe, we all went to Mexico together, and everyone wants to know about Mexico.
All right.
This was so for I'll give a little bit of background on it. Basically, I get a call from our booking agent while we were doing the American tour, and it was probably like 3 weeks before the Mexican festival date, and he was just like, can we do this show? And I said no. I was like, it's going to be impossible to do this show. I'm on a tour right now with my other band, Aesthetic Perfection, and we're not ending the tour until like 5 days before this festival, and it's, we're ending it in America. This is in Mexico, to wrangle all the crew members, and there were going to be some personnel changes in the band. We never rehearsed together and all this stuff. And I said no. I said, we can't do this. And then I called Till the next day just to be like, oh, did you hear that crazy idea that like about that show? And I think that he didn't get the memo, and he was like, no, tell me about it. And then next thing I know, he's like, let's do it. And I was like, bro, I'm like, this is going to be fucking impossible. And then lo and behold, there I am making phone calls to everyone trying to figure it out. And we made it happen. And it was like, even you, Daniel, had to chip in. And we were on that, we were on this tour. I became very fucking stressed before anything else started. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, I was just walking around like this all day. Like, how am I going to make this happen? and I had to ask Daniel to chip in, and then Constance, you to play keyboards and do all this stuff, because we decided, I never thought that someone could do what they do live on a keyboard and actually play parts and not fake it. And there you are, like on stage with us every night. And I was like, this is insane. Like, could you do this? So that, because at the time, actually, Danny Lohner was going to play keyboards. And then, because he did, when he was in Nine Inch Nails, he played everything. And then I was like, once I saw you on the keyboards, I was just like, oh, it makes a little more sense to have you, and then move him to bass. So that's what we did. We made it all work, and we had all this production work that we had to do in order to make it work. And it was the work of like 15 people, and that should have taken about 3 months. And actually, we reached out to some really heavy hitters in the industry to help us, and everyone was like, this is impossible to do in this time frame. And I feel like I was having a meltdown. Like, I might have even been crying, like, what do I do? Everyone's like, and I went to Daniel and I was like, can you help us? And you were like, yes. And
Daniel's coming in like the mom. Yes, guys, I'll fix it all for you. Come here.
I like a challenge, like when somebody tells me something's impossible, I just kind of have to find like the way through, and so that's kind of how I feel about this house situation right now. Just like, how the hell am I going to do this? So with the show in Mexico, it was also a similar sort of feeling, but also just, you want to prove to yourself that you can.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool. Like, people probably don't know that. Of course, we using Rammstein tour crew members for crew in the other band usually, and it was so last minute that everyone couldn't come. So I had to rely on on Danny, who was in Nine Inch Nails, because he's still tight with all those guys, on bringing in some. Luckily, some of the Nine Inch Nails crew members were available, so we had some of them come in and work with us on the show, and everyone was so impressed with Daniel, and like these guys who worked with Trent Reznor forever, you know, in the studio even and everything. And I was like, for me, I like secretly, I was like so proud and like stoked for you. I was like, wow, it's so cool that like that. What of that? Like, how was that for you? Like, if it was me, I'd be like, I'd feel so validated because you like you're in your own little world. Like I imagine you don't even realize like how adored you are a lot of time. And then, you know, you're like, you're always thinking, you know, you're very pessimistic, and then, you know, everything open is, and you're like, wow. And to have that, like to be working with these people and stuff, like what was that like for you?
That was hands down like the most validating professional experience of my life, like without question, because, you know, sort of my role in aesthetic perfection is more or less like the front man, right? Like I'm the producer as well, and, you know, I write the songs, but I still get the feeling that most people sort of view me as a front man, and I understand that, but as I've said, you know, earlier in this conversation, you know, being a producer and writing songs and producing songs is what I love doing the most. And, you know, so to be tasked to handle sort of like studio type work, and have that be my sole focus, and have so many people who are so revered in this world, not only just in the music industry, but like by me, like, you know, sitting next to Danny Lohner, like working on music was just something that if you told 15-year-old me was going to happen, I would have told you were fucking crazy. So, you know, these types of experiences really do make you feel like, oh wow, maybe I'm not so bad at this after all. Maybe I did it made the right choice following this path.
Was it?
And you didn't want to go to Mexico.
Oh man, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to Mexico. And it was so funny because you know, my wife was popping in and out of the tour, and so when this was sort of all being decided, she was not on the tour. But then I think a day or two after we had this conversation, where I was like, there is no chance in fucking hell that I'm going to go. You know, Stephanie arrived and was with us on the tour, and we're in our hotel room, and I'm explaining this whole situation to her, and I'm like, yeah, and I told them there was no way I was going to go to Mexico. And she's just like, you're a fucking idiot. You are going to Mexico. And I was just like, what? Don't you want me to come home? She's like, yeah, of course I want you to come home, but you're stupid if you don't take this opportunity. And I was like, oh, gee, I guess. So, you know, but like with most things, she was right.
Well, thank you, and thanks, Stephanie, because honestly, the show wouldn't have happened if it weren't for you. So Jeff asked, actually, like, is a good segue. Like, what was your? He wants to know everyone's like best and worst moment related to this situation. I'll go first.
Oh,
so,
okay.
For me, the best moment was just being on stage. The best moment was being on stage. The worst moment was, and I have to say, I want to compare it because, like, we did a show in Dubai. Almost, it was actually like exactly 11 months earlier because we played on January 5th the year before. So, when I did that show, I didn't know the show was gonna. There were two shows. There was Israel and Dubai, and that was when Omicron spiked like a couple weeks before, and the shows were like announced last minute, and we were like, you know, it was like during COVID when all the shows kept rolling over, not happening, and it was like such a bum out, you know, and I stopped getting excited about things, and it was just, you know, we all did, I think, and then we get this, we're like, all right, there's other things. And then there was like our next shows were Ukraine and Russia, and then the conflict begins, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? And then they're like, all right, we're going to do these shows in Israel and Dubai. And it's like, okay, and then Omicron, and we're like, oh my God. So we didn't know we were playing those shows until the day after Christmas. Woke up and it was like, surprise, we're going for sure. Everyone go get COVID tests. And then I had COVID. I didn't even know. And we were rehearsing the whole time and everything with my band. No one else had it. I had COVID, and I had to miss that first show. And then I just stopped in my tracks, and I was like, I'm just going to do all this holistic health stuff and keep taking COVID tests every day and hope that I can make it to Dubai. And I did. And then I got to Dubai, which was like a pretty long flight. Never been there before. It's pretty cool there, actually. I was like skeptical, but it was awesome. We had a great time. But we got there, and I didn't sleep the night before the show. I was so excited. And then the day of the show, we rehearsed, because we never rehearsed like in a while. And we rehearsed this whole show 3 times before we played the show. And I was so tired when I played the show that I remember walking off stage like feeling like it didn't even happen. It was just like, I didn't have that like, oh yeah, like fuck, that was awesome feeling. Like it was like I was in a haze. It was so weird. But this time I had that long drawn out way of saying like that. This time it was awesome. And the oh fuck moment for me was, we were rehearsing. We get there and set up a bit before Till comes, and he's rehearsing. The band gets ready and rehearse on its own before Till's coming and rehearsing with us, right? So the first song that we played, finally, after it took us like 2 or 3 days to get set up, I think, and also we're in Mexico, which the backline companies don't have the best gear to begin with, and then we're getting added last minute to a festival that has hundreds of bands, and everyone already has all the good gear. So all our gear's fucked up. Everything's not like, they gave me cymbals that were broke. It was like, oh my God. And we're figuring it out, and we finally get set up after a couple days and go through the first song, and my arms seized up and I couldn't like play, and I couldn't breathe. And that was the moment that I was like, oh, I forgot Mexico is like pretty high above sea level. And it turns out where we were in Mexico was like 8,000 feet above sea level, which is like what people train to go on the Appalachian mountain walks and everything. Like, I don't even know if that's a real thing, but I freaked out, and I was like, I don't know if I can play this show, like physically. And I couldn't, I almost passed out. And in between, the first time we ran through the set, in between every song, I had to catch my brother. I had to stop like 10 minutes. But I Googled like what to do, and it was like just eat Snickers all the time, and I did all the stuff, and everything was okay by the time of the show. But like, what about you guys?
Definitely that great moment when I walked up on stage and I saw everyone just out. I couldn't even see the end of the people, and that was pretty cool. And that was a moment in the like pit of my stomach where I was like, all right, a lot of people out there.
Have you ever played to a crowd that big before?
Not that big, no. The biggest I played was Warped Tour, which we did have like a really big crowd. Mm-hmm. Thousands of people go to that. But this was definitely way bigger than that. So.
And your
but I didn't have
moment?
any. My oh fuck moment. I don't know if I had any. I mean, the altitude definitely was getting to me. I was really sleepy. It wasn't making me fatigued. I just wanted to fall asleep the whole time. And it was pretty cold on stage. And my nose kept running. It was really gross. And I was trying to fight moving around without it, like, especially when the Jumbotron's on my face. And I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't just have boogers just hanging down. I actually remember in between songs, I leaned down and I grabbed a towel and I was like wiping my nose with it. And then Till came around and was looking for a towel, and he went to grab it, and I grabbed it real quick and handed him a water.
He don't care.
I forgot what
He's
part
like,
of the set. I was like, don't get my boogers.
He don't care, trust me. He would have been like, fuck
it.
it. I love your boogers.
But I didn't really have many oh fuck moments. It was more like learning them on the tour bus, well, bandwagon.
Yeah.
On tour. That was about a week before. I was like, shit, am I going to get all these down?
You did it.
I did it.
Yeah, everyone worked so hard. And Daniel, you, Like you were really panicking every day, like on our tour.
So
really.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna bow out because I'm fading. I'm so tired. Yeah. So, I think at first I was really sort of just running off of adrenaline, and I was so laser focused on everything. And I remember, you know, on like day 1 or 2, like Danny Loner came up to me and he was like, "Dude, you are just so like in the zone. You are so like on top of this. I'm so impressed. Like I don't even know what to say." And you know, this was just this incredible compliment coming from someone that I respect deeply, you know. And I was like, yeah, I got this, but I don't even remember exactly what happened or what triggered it, but it was just like 2 days before the show. It was like that Wednesday. For some reason, like something had gone wrong or wasn't coming out right, and then somehow I just sort of collapsed in on myself and was like, "Oh my god, I can't do this. What the fuck? Blah 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 blah." And I tried to hide it from everybody, but Danny saw it, and Danny came up to me and he was like, "I know how you feel. I see that you're just like inches away from falling apart, but I just want you to know that I see you and I got you." So that was like one of the worst things, but also one of the best things. And I think what was really surprising to me was that, you know, I'm pretty open about the fact that I have stage fright. And throughout this process, I was like, oh, this is so cool to be working on a show where I don't have to worry about the show. I just get to worry about the technical stuff. And I remember just before the lights went down, I turned to you know, one of the other techs that I was working closely with, and I felt like my heart like beating out of my chest, like, is this all gonna work? And I said to him, like, are you nervous, dude? Like, is this weird? Like, I'm nervous. He's like, oh yeah, I'm nervous before every show. I'm like, but you're not even on stage. He's like, I know, but there's just so much like riding on all this and all of our hard work. Like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't even get to bypass the stage fright then. Like it was such a weird experience. But I remember when, you know, you and I were talking about how you really wanted to feel the subs, right, in these certain parts of the songs. And, you know, me and the other guy, we were like really making sure that those were right up there. And that part of the song comes and you hit the trigger and the whole fucking stage rumbles. Like I could feel like the food that I had eaten that day, like in my stomach. I was like, oh. And me and the other guy, we fucking fist bump each other. We're like, Joey fucking felt that. I know it. And then after the show, I asked you, you're like, oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't hear it. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
The funny thing, when we were rehearsing, Till also said to me, he's like, yeah, why aren't I feeling? And I was like, yeah, and I was asking you to push those more, and you're
because
like,
you
trust
don't
me,
have
they're
subs.
there. So yeah, but I had a fucking massive arena PA behind my drum set, and then I still didn't notice, but I did watch all the videos back, and I was like, "What the fuck? It's there. It's so there. What? How? Maybe I'm just like the frequency is so fucking low and destructive that like I can't."
I thought I was like, man, the screws that are holding the stage together are gonna like rattle out because it was just like.
I mean, it kept making my mic stand fall over until it got to the point where Amanda just took off the stage.
Yeah. So good.
It was
so
wild,
good.
and we all made it happen, and it was fucking really hard. It was really hard. And people don't know what kind of work goes into something like that. It's just like, it's not as simple as like just getting together and refreshing on some songs and everything. It's just, fuck.
No, there's just so many moving parts.
And the attention to detail is just insane.
Yeah.
But it pays off in the end.
It does.
Agreed.
I have it.
All right, folks.
No. Before you go, I have a picture of you. I wanted to ask you about.
Boy.
It. There it is.
I'm sure I know which one it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
You thought it was going to be the one where I'm eating ham off your head, didn't you?
I did.
That's a picture of me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's Constance and Emma. Can I ask you? I want to ask you a question. If someone was like, "Hey, like here, take this magic pill and like you can have this hair now," would you be like? Because I feel like you're good without it. But like, do you wish you could do it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, if there was like a magic pill that would like make my hair grow back, I would take it. But the thing is, I don't even know what I would do with it if I had it, because like I'm serious. Like
First you buy a brush.
I've been I've been shaving my head now for almost 20 years. So it's like hard to even know if I would look good with it, if I would have any sort of sense of what to do with it. Like, and so much of my style is like based around not having hair, right? Like I'm like the Lego guy with all the different hats, you know? Would I even be me without the hats?
It suits you so well, and I know that it wouldn't suit me well. Like I'd be fucked if I had no hair. I think it works for some people, it doesn't work for other people, and for you, it fucking works. And I feel like, and you don't have to worry about your hair getting fucked up or sucking.
For sideburns.
Yeah, you gotta make sure these bad boys.
Oh, there they are. You gotta grow them long enough so you could tie them up in a bow on the bottom.
Yeah,
I'm just a mini straightener. It's only like this big.
I do.
He does.
I know, it's so cute. It's so cute. I love it.
You're so cute.
Constance, you look great bald. I think you'd look fantastic.
I think I could pull it off. I would definitely paint my head weird colors.
Ooh,
Put
that's a
messages
good
in the
idea.
back.
Yeah.
Well, look, everyone's tired. We can end it. It's okay. I want to ask one more thing.
All right.
Which is, people are wondering when we're going to announce all the dates, because we haven't announced all the tour dates. And they're like, what the fuck?
I'm hoping this week. I told Jan, our booking agent, we need everything like done with a bow on top of it by the 1st of February. And he was like, yes, I do believe that I can make this happen. Please just give me a couple of days to make some phone calls. Yes.
So that's Wednesday.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, I wonder if we can have all the details for the VIP ready by then too.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
All right, we have a lot of work to do. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I haven't done one of these in so long, so it was nice to get the gears going again, and I'm comfortable with the both of you. So thank you. Made it easy.
Awesome. Right. Well, thanks for the invite. Good seeing you both, and yeah, we'll do this all in real life in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks?
Right. Well, a few weeks.
It's like
a few is 3 or more. Okay.
Okay. A lot of weeks. Okay, we'll do this in a lot of weeks.
Everyone stretch.
Hang out with the spiders. All right.
Everyone stretch. Oh, it's good. All right. Everyone say one thing you're thankful for.
You guys.
And then you can go. Huh?
Aw.
I said you guys.
Aw.
Well, I was going to say my cat, but now I'm obligated to say you guys.
All right, I'll say.
Still my answer.
You guys and my cat.
All right, you guys, my cat, and my son, and my girlfriend. Ooh, I got 4.
Wow. God damn it.
All right.
I'm going to hear from this from Lenny later.
Right. Everyone say bye-bye to everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for hanging. Okay, everyone, you guys go away, and I'll stay, and I'll talk to the people a little more.
Oh, okay, bye.
Bye. Hi, guys. All right. So I'm just like making these pictures go away, as you can see. So I hope that was fun. I know that I didn't get to every single question. I'll figure out a way. I'll ask them, and then maybe I'll make a post, because I haven't done one of these in a while, so I kind of miscalculated the timing. I always feel like I'm not going to have enough to talk about, and there's always way too much to talk about, and it happened again. So I had something come up yesterday that kept me from preparing the way I normally do for these, and I was fumbling through putting everything together right before we started today, And so I just copied and pasted everyone's questions in my notes, and I didn't like make them short and concise enough to like use them as an outline like I normally do. So I still have everyone's questions. I will figure out a way to, I'll just do it right after I get off, actually. I'll just like write them and I'll ask for their responses. How's that? And I'll post them in Patreon posts. So if you're seeing this and you're not a member of the Patreon, you can sign up at patreon.com/JoeLetz. And the info's in the, probably in the, what's it called? Description down below, or if it's not, I'll put it there. And yeah, for everyone that is a member, who's everyone that's here right now, actually, because the way this always works for those who are just coming across this, if you even made it all the way to the end of the video, is I allow the members of the Patreon to be inside while we're doing it, and then afterwards I make it public. So if you're interested in becoming a member, you know, we do these things. I haven't done them in a while, but I'm going to start activating it again. And I'm putting a lot of stuff in place so that I can do stay on top of the stuff that I did not stay on top of on the last tour. So I just mailed everyone's mail out that was owed. And I did some extra stuff in there. I came up with a really cool perk that I made for everyone. And so it's in the mail in my building. It's going to leave tomorrow. And actually, I have Stefan's here because he saw that I put the wrong address. So I'm going to fix that. And yeah, there's 9 levels to choose from in the Patreon. Everything from you know, having access to the blogs to getting fantasy pictures, which I'm going to start making up in this week, which I have a really awesome idea to make up for the missing ones of those 2. And you know, you get mail from me, you get hangs with me. It's, you know, it's all just different ways to connect with me and for us to connect with one another and like have this community, which is awesome and super positive and supportive. So everyone's welcome, and I would love to have more members. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out. And I guess that's it. My son is playing, Darian is playing Ragnarok. Is that what it's called? God of War out there. So I'm going to go hang out with him for a bit because I've been in here all day preparing for this. So thank you guys so much. I love you all, and I will see you next time. I'll see you soon. I'll make a post soon.